Discern between inner worth and outer position. Once, in New York, a woman who was helping with self-realization fellowship office work confided to me that she had met a marvelous man, a psychic, who had told her wonderful things about herself, including the revelation that in a former life she had been Mary, Queen of Scots. I did not believe she had been that queen, and I silently uttered a little prayer that God would banish her delusion. A few days later, a student came to see me and, with great excitement, said, "I have just met a famous psychic, the same one the office worker had mentioned, who told me that in a past life I was Mary, Queen of Scots." I asked the office worker to come into the room, and, placing the two queens face to face, I asked, "Which one of you is the real Mary, Queen of Scots?" The ladies, happily, realized their mistake, which was one of undiscriminating credulity and of readiness to confuse true inner worth with conspicuous outer position. The truth is, we love to be flattered. Unscrupulous persons thus may take advantage of us now and then. But who you were in a previous life and whether or not you were important in the eyes of the world is of little consequence. It is best to be born as a divine or Brahmin type, regardless of worldly position. All of you have something of that divine type in you, otherwise you would not be here this morning. Exchange of souls between East and West. Out of millions of people, you have been drawn to this temple because you have had something to do with the Orient and its spiritual teachings before. Now that you are an Occidental, outwardly, other Occidentals may laugh at you for going to what may seem to them a heathen church. Those who feel a prejudice against the East did not recently come from there, but those who feel a leaning toward the East were probably born there in a recent past life. By such indications, one can distinguish Oriental and Occidental souls. Did you from early childhood enjoy the fragrance of incense and stories and pictures of the East? Such inclinations would show that you had been quite recently in contact with the Orient. Many souls from the East have reincarnated now in America. Desiring material perfection, they have been born here to enjoy the fulfillment of that desire and to help encourage American spiritual ideals. Similarly, many souls that formerly were born in America have since reincarnated in India in order to benefit from her spiritual riches and to help India in the development of the material side of her civilization. I hope that many of you may go there to help India, and that many in India will come here to serve in America. This world is God's family. He is trying to improve all nations. He has no preference for one over another. Another test of your past is your preference for certain sensations. Some people like heat all the time. They have become accustomed, in other lives, to warm climates. Others like cold better, which shows that they had been born in cold climates before. If you have always had a special feeling for the mountains or the sea, you may be certain you brought that attachment from another life. There are people who become lonely if they are out of the city and cannot stand quiet places. That attitude, too, was cultivated in the past. Those who have a driving ambition throughout life were important men before. To have that tendency and not develop it is to suppress oneself. In the proper environment, such a person could become a great man. There are others who remain unsuccessful, no matter what they do to get ahead. This indicates they have carried a failure tendency from the past, but they should not give up the battle to overcome it. Such persons must conquer wrong tendencies now, or they will manifest those faults in the next incarnation. George Eastman once told me that in the early years of his Kodak company, he offered stock for 25 cents a share. Still, it wouldn't sell. The family of the girl he wished to marry objected to the match. The adverse circumstances were such that it seemed he would never become a success, yet, after a while, everything opened up for him. Why? Because he had been creative and ambitious before, and he kept on cultivating those tendencies in this life. From childhood, I wished for large buildings and many people about me, and for shady trees and water wherever I might go. And these are what I attract. I also knew from childhood that I would have such things, that when I wished and worked for it, these places would come easily to me. When I talked about it, people sometimes laughed skeptically. Nevertheless, such environments have materialized. At our Ranchi school, we have a big pond. Our Dakshineswar War headquarters faces the Ganges River. Our Encinitas Hermitage overlooks the Pacific Ocean. So, through analysis of your present strong tendencies, you can pretty accurately surmise what kind of life you led before.